Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez, here to help you make sense of everything going on in the Magic story. Today, we're looking at Chronicle of Bolas Perspectives. That's episode 7 out of 8 for Core Set 2019. Available now. Oh man, where do I even start with this one? Okay, just in case you forgot where we're at. Nicol Bolas just ripped his way out of his disguise, which was a pregnant woman's body, like a snake shedding its skin. He's standing in front of Naeva, who's at the bottom of the canyon that's holding Ugin's body. And about 10 feet away from her, hidden inside a hedron, are her twin sister and her grandmother, both unconscious. What happens next is either completely unexpected or completely expected, depending on what you expect from a power-hungry dragon. Nicol Bolas says he needs Naeva's help in finding and killing Ugin because Ugin is a huge liar, and everything that he's said to them so far has been untrue. Now, Naeva doesn't really have a dog in this fight. She's never met Ugin, she's just heard stories. So she has no reason to believe one side over the other. What she does have is enough sense to know that the only way she gets out of this is by stalling for time while she figures out a plan. So she lets Nicol Bolas give his version of everything. And if I may borrow a phrase I used way back in episode 1, it's a doozy. Nicol Bolas claims that he and Ugin are not twins. He says that he was born first. He flew first, he breathed first, he did everything first, and then he very generously reached over and tapped Ugin on the wing to wake him up so he could enjoy all that stuff too. He says they didn't touch the ground for years. They flew around and explored their birthplace, which he named Dominaria. And Ugin's version of this was very, very different, if you remember. He says they both hit the ground almost immediately and watched one of their cousins get killed. But Nicol Bolas says, no, everyone flew around, all of his brothers and sisters, everybody, all happy and very much alive. It only gets stranger from there. Nicol Bolas says he logically had to take control of the humans on Dominaria because they were too dangerous and aggressive to be left to their own devices. And by waging war against them, he could show them the error of their own ways. He says Ugin pledged to stand beside him, but ultimately didn't have the stomach for battle and fled, which must be the first time Ugin planeswalked away. Nicol admits he didn't understand this and created his own academies full of sorcerers to try and learn and study the magic that he thinks destroyed Ugin. He claims this act drove his brother and sister dragons to jealousy, and they started the Elder Dragon War. Then his story lines back up with Ugin's. He tells Naeva about the time he was fighting Arcades Sabbath, and Ugin arrived right in the middle of it, but his version plays out very differently. He says Ugin mocked him and laughed at him, dismissed his efforts to domesticate the humans, and didn't believe that the Elder Dragon War was self-defense. And then Ugin planeswalked away the second time after allegedly saying to Nicol Bolas, "You'll regret thinking you're better than me." As he tells it, this most supreme insult is the event that ignites his own spark. He is so angry that Ugin is free to come and go as he pleases. Something inside himself snaps, and he is flung for the first time off of Dominaria. Now, we've talked before about what it takes to ignite a planeswalker's spark. Usually, it is intense personal trauma. But for Nicol Bolas, it was, again allegedly, Ugin saying, "You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." So, Nicol Bolas spends a few years exploring different worlds, but eventually comes back home to check on Dominaria. And he finds it very different from when he left, and it seems the only surviving dragons are the other elders, Arcades, Palladia, Vivictus, and Chromium. And this is where things get really interesting. Nicol Bolas goes to talk to Arcades Sabbath, and Arcades says he hasn't seen Ugin since the early days when you two went off to fight the dragon-hunting humans together, and you told us Ugin died. No, turns out he was just hiding, and he came back in the middle of our big battle, remember? Asks Nicol Bolas. You mean that day you were acting really strange and abandoned your army in the middle of our fight? I didn't see anyone else there that day, says Arcades. Stop the music, stop the little card animation, stop everything, because we just entered some Fight Club level plot twists right here. Arcades says, Hey, I know you feel really bad about Ugin's death. You probably wish you could have done more to protect him and keep him alive. You probably feel terrible about your weakness and your failure. And Nicol Bolas responds by using his mind control magic to make Arcades burn all of his loyal human friends to death. Then he planeswalks away and bumps right into Ugin, who, again, allegedly, then attacks him. They're in a place called the Meditation Realm, and conveniently there are no witnesses present. In fact, it seems no one has seen Ugin alive for quite a while, if Arcades is to be believed. Nicol Bolas claims this is the fight in which he killed Ugin, but it was in self-defense, and it wasn't on Tarkir, and it didn't happen at a time that Ugin died as we understand it. So a ton of stuff is not making sense right now, but rather than explain any of it, Nicol Bolas says to Naeva, I know you're trying to stall me, but I am done telling stories. So you tell me where I can find Yasova and Ugin right now. Naeva says, well, Ugin is dead. You just said so yourself. You said you killed him. And Nicol Bolas says, yeah, but he's been plaguing me ever since, most recently by trying to get me trapped on Ixalan, which is a whole nother story for a whole nother time. Anyway, Nicol Bolas does start to use his mind control powers on Naeva. He gets her to admit that Yasova is inside the Hedrons, and she goes to get her, but first, she puts her knife up against the throat of her sleeping twin sister. And that's where the story ends. Will Naeva murder her twin? Will she give Yasova and Ugin over to Nicol Bolas? There's only one episode left, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends to watch if you want to see the last Magic Arcanum. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.